Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to our Facebook video experiments. Today we're going to be looking at an experiment dealing with density once again. And for those of you who saw our Cartesian diagram experiment, you might remember that density is a measurement of the mass of an object divided by its volume, or the weight of an object divided by the amount of space that it takes up. Now for today's experiment, you're going to need some water. You're going to need a clear plastic cup. You're going to also need salt, food coloring, and finally some oil. And it can be vegetable oil, we have canola oil here, any kind of cooking oil will work for this. And what you're going to do is you're going to first of all fill up your cup. You want to fill it a little over half the way full with water. Once you do that, you're going to take your oil.
You're going to want to add enough oil so you have about 1/4 of an inch of oil in there, so you have a nice defined oil layer. And just let it settle. Now you can see that our oil is going to stay on top of the water because it's less dense. So if we look at the same amount of oil and the same amount of water, you'd see that the water would actually weigh more than the oil. Same thing is going to be with our salt and our water. Our salt is actually more dense, so it's going to weigh more than the same amount of water, and it's going to sink to the bottom once we start to sprinkle it in. Now once we start adding the salt to our mixture, it's going to sink down. You can see some of it's going to sink down all the way through to the bottom, but a lot of it's going to kind of gather up in that oil layer. And eventually we're going to increase the overall density of that oil with the added salt, and it's going to start to make the oil sink to the very bottom. Now you might have to add quite a bit of salt to get this to work. You need to have enough concentrated in one area to actually increase the density of that oil. You can see there, we got a drop go through. There goes another one. And what's going to happen is eventually that salt that is in that oil drop will dissolve in the water, and then the density is going to decrease, and the oil is going to float back up to the top. And then we're going to have more drop through as they get denser, and then they're going to release their salt and lose that density and then rise back up to the surface, so we get this kind of lava lamp effect.
Now you're probably wondering why there is food coloring for this experiment. Well, you can add a little extra fun with this if you add some food coloring to it. So I'm going to select some red for us, and we're going to add just a few drops to it.
When you add your food coloring drops, you want to make sure you space them out a little bit so you can see the effect a little better. You might need to add a little bit of salt to get it to work. You can see here they're going to fall through the oil layer and into the water, and then they'll start to spread and mix within the water there, and you get this kind of neat explosion or firework effect right in your glass.
I hope you guys enjoyed this experiment, and we will see you with the next one.